Hey, my name is Jordan Shelton, and this is my Web 2.0 and mobile app final demonstration video. I'm going to be showing these things on Prezi and then kind of showing you them on my internet browser separately. So here we go. This is for EDU 580 through William Woods University. The first Web 2.0 tool that I'm really going to talk about is Google Drive, and honestly, really pretty much all of the Google apps for education by extension as well. Google Drive is absolutely essential to my everyday instruction. This Web 2.0 tool gives users the opportunity to share their work and collaborate with others. It's especially helpful in the English classroom because it opens up new and innovative ways for students to document their research, collaborate on group projects, and track various drafts of their work. Google Drive also helps teachers hold students accountable for their work by saving automatically and keeping multiple records of the student's work, which can help prevent plagiarism and cheating. So let's take a look at what my personal Google Drive looks like. As you can see, I've got a few different folders set up. It's really easy to keep pretty much everything that you need on Google Drive because you know it's going to be saved regardless of whether or not you forget your computer at home or if you forget to save something. It's just really nice that it is constantly saving. Whenever I use it in class, my kids will share things with me, and that's how I end up going through and grading them. Okay, and then going back to the Prezi. Okay, so additionally, what I feel like is another really strong thing about Google Drive is that it works really seamlessly with all other Google apps for education, including Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets. One of my personal favorite ways to use Google Drive is with Flubaroo and Google Forms. Using these two tools in conjunction, teachers can actually create quizzes in Google Forms and automatically grade student responses with Flubaroo. This is just one example of how Google and partner developers are working to make teachers' lives easier, in my opinion. So let's take a look at that, and I can kind of show you an example from what I've used this past year. So first of all, let's talk about Classroom first. Google Classroom I end up using every single day. This is usually where I post my kids' bell work and all other things, and I can divide them by hour. You just put a link up on the board and a code, and then it automatically enrolls them. It's really easy to use. If I click on them, it arranges the assignments as if it were a feed. So like here I've got an assignment from April 24th, which was to prepare them for their EOC, and it's a practice essay. And so if we click on the first one, it actually opens a folder in my Google Drive where this kid's particular assignment is stored, which is really, really easy for organization because I'm not having to go through and look at my incoming feed and then like put the files in the correct folder. Google Classroom does it for me, which is awesome. And so then whenever I click on it and I'm ready to grade it, it pops up. I can also see this as they're working on it because it's automatically shared with me from the beginning. So I can track their progress on it. I can go in and make suggestions, which I tend to do a lot. They can either, ignore those suggestions or actually act on them. So it's pretty good for that. You can also see who all has worked on this. As you can see, this is all by her. She hasn't had anybody else sign in. And it also, since it tracks multiple versions of it, I can see, how it makes it much easier to see if she, just copy and pasted something into it, which this kid would not do. So anyway, it's a really, really good positive thing for teachers to have. Talking about Google Drive, if I were to show you guys how I tend to use Google Forms and Flubaroo, let's say if I go in here, this is one of the quizzes that I actually made, and it'll show the editing version first, but I can kind of show you guys, I think, what it would actually look like. You can choose different themes for it. I usually just choose something random. Sometimes I tend to go with the cat theme because the kids think it's hilarious. See, they have their little cats with birthday hats. Anyway, there are different ones, but it's just really easy because the kids just go through and select whichever answer it is. Once they do that, and once you have had everybody take the test, or even if you want to go ahead and grade it, class by class, you can do that as well. You just click on the responses. And then Flubaroo is an extension through Google Google Drive. So you have to like install it that way. And once you do that, then you just go to add-ons, Flubaroo. We can just click regrade assignment. And it'll say it will replace the existing grades, but that doesn't really matter because they're the same grades. The first question is always usually the username, and that's to identify the student. And then you always go through and answer the quiz with your correct answers after you make it, and then that's always the top one, and you always select that as the rubric to grade against. And then it takes a second to load. And sometimes it does this, but you can just ignore it. It's not a big deal. And then if we click on grades now, it'll show me in a second what they actually made on it. This one you can see some of them are struggling a little bit. So and it will go point by point, and it will also highlight the ones that were low scoring questions so that I can go back and look at them. You can also incorporate questions that are not multiple choice, but those are not automatically graded. You have to go back through and grade those yourselves. So it's just kind of good for whenever you want to do a quick quiz, but you don't really want to print out all the papers and stuff like that. Okay, so in my opinion, Google Drive and Google Classroom are better alternatives to Edmodo, Canvas, Dropbox, and etc. because of the seamless integration between all the Google apps. This keeps me from having to spend my time worrying about whether or not a link is going to work or a document will share correctly. If you don't already use these tools, you really should check them out if you're a teacher, especially if you're an English teacher, because they really are life-saving sometimes. Moving on to my next step, Web 2.0 tool that I want to talk about, which is Prezi. Prezi I haven't ever really used all that much. I tend to kind of go with the more traditional PowerPoint presentations and things like that. But Prezi I might end up using more often this next year. It's another Web 2.0 tool that I think can be greatly beneficial to educators. In the words of many who have come before me, Prezi is basically PowerPoint on steroids. Unlike PowerPoint, however, Prezis are stored on your Prezi server instead of on your personal computer. However, they do have an option for you to download your presentation, which is what I've actually done with this one because it just made it a little easier. But if you're going to be, presenting and you've got links and videos and things that need the internet, honestly, to get the best bang for your buck, you're going to want to do it online. But either way, it works. Prezi is an excellent alternative to PowerPoint because the overall presentation ends up being much more visually stimulating, in my opinion. Using Prezi instead of Microsoft PowerPoint or Apple Keynote for class notes or even notes for staff meetings would be an excellent idea because it's going to keep your viewers more engaged. Now, of course, that is if it is used effectively. Prezi will never be an effective substitute for a truly engaging presenter or teacher. There's just nothing that can, in my opinion, that can substitute for that. Another benefit of Prezi is its seamless integration with other digital tools. For example, it's really easy to embed YouTube videos, links, images, and sound clips into Prezi. Videos especially seem to be the source of many difficulties for people who use traditional presentation tools, and I have definitely experienced that as well. But it does make it really easy to include these things. There's this just handy insert menu at the top of the website whenever you're editing, and then you can pretty much insert all kinds of things, and I'll show you that really fast. So if I'm going to log into my Prezi account, these are the ones that open. As you can see, I've only actually really made one before this one, so I'm excited to maybe use this in my class. But if I were to open this one, which is actually the one I'm showing you right now, it opens the editing tab once it loads. And from there, I can insert different things. I can change the order of the slides. It's really, I think, pretty easy to use. insert, this is the drop-down menu I was talking about. You can customize, so you can choose one of the pre-designed layouts, but you can also like start from scratch if you want to, or you can choose a layout and then kind of tweak it as you go along, whatever best fits your needs. But it's really easy to navigate, in my opinion. So and then the next thing that I'm going to talk about is Twitter. Twitter is available, of course, via your regular web browser or as an app. In terms of mobile apps, the one I use the most as an educator is Twitter. I've always had a personal Twitter account since like 2009, but I've now set that to private because that's, my personal one. But whenever I became a teacher, I realized how much my students use Twitter in their everyday lives and decided to set up a teacher Twitter account. To my surprise, my students actually started following me. They didn't think it was as much of a loser move as I thought they would. So before this class, I used Twitter primarily as a means of connecting with my students outside of class by sending reminders, sharing cool educational links, and answering their students' questions. Now, however, thanks to this class, I've also realized the benefit of using Twitter as a PLN to help me grow and adapt as an educator. Throughout my time in this course, I've discovered numerous resources through my PLN that I plan to use during this next school year. I've also connected with several other educators, both local and far away, whom I will stay in contact with throughout the year. This is especially beneficial to me as a new teacher because these contacts can give me encouragement, ideas, and advice when I need it. Sorry, I've been sick. So let's go ahead and head over to my Twitter page. This is my personal teacher Twitter. Those are my newspaper kids. I try to retweet things that the kids are going to relate to, or things that I want them to be aware of. So the recent decisions of the Supreme Court, I retweeted those. Like I had a kid the other day tweet me. He saw, I guess, this in Barnes & Noble and thought of me. That it's apparently Romeo and Juliet in text form called OMG Shakespeare. So I think it's pretty cool whenever the kids see things and think of tweeting me about it. I think it's cool that they have that option to do that. I also use it to tweet different words. As you can see, this is one of my favorite Twitter accounts that I've talked about. Like this, I had a lot of kids this year who read the book Paper Towns by John Green for their book reports throughout the year, and I wanted to let them know that the trailer is out. Sometimes my kids will end up taking pictures on my phone. I'm sure other teachers have this problem, so they think it's like the best thing ever whenever I tweet it off my account. Different things like Julius Caesar, whenever we were reading that, Ides of March. It's just fun to have this venue to be able to reach out to the kids. Whenever Harper Lee announced that she was going to be publishing her second novel, I was able to tweet about that, able to tweet about different reminders. So whenever we have book report presentations, it's always a big thing that the kids are scrambling last minute to do, of course. So it just ends up being a really good thing. It's been really beneficial to me. And anyway, so that is my presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thanks.